one of these is too bright. I think it's that one. I just turned that one way up, and now it's too bright. I'm having a hard time seeing the monitor in front of me. And that's why I had it down so low. All right. And this is out of focus. All right, there we go. So I was gonna try and glue a miniature whose piece had broken, but I don't think I actually have the right glue for it because it's resin. And I can't remember which glue I found that worked well with resin, but I had a really hard time in the couple days I had a 3D printer because I could not figure out how to glue those miniatures. Resin does not seem to respond to the same thing that the plastics do. All right, so Bishop is going to be out here soon. He's taking a shower and he's planning on painting this massive jet, and I'm gonna let him do it all on his own because he's got painting down. It's a weird design because like it won't sit. I gotta go to the other camera. This is actually okay. So I mean, come on, Atomic Mass. Like, what is this? What's going on here? Like you have to glue it to this base, and then when you glue it to this base, it's like, all right, it's got, no, wrong way. There we go. So it's got 4 points of contact back here, and then like 1 point of contact here. So this whole thing is kind of being supported mostly by 1 point of contact, right? This one thing here. So I'm gonna have to like merge this in, even though it has like these two points here. You can see like the two wheels here, and they connect. It's really just the front wheel that's attached, and so it's like the whole time it's kind of like straining against it. This feels like poor engineering, but whatever. We're excited to have the plane, and it's a small gripe. We have a piece of massive terrain that we can play in our miniature war game. All right, let me switch back to the other camera. Well, I was planning on going through the Dragonbane book and just looking at the magic spells, because I was planning on making a video about the magic system in this game, because I made the other video about Dragonbane, and I was like talking about the things I really like about the game and the session that we had, and someone posted in the comments like, hey, you forgot to talk about magic. And I'm like, I totally forgot to talk about magic because we didn't have any magic characters. Like my son was a barbarian or something. My son was a craftsman. That's right, there's no classes. My son was a craftsman. Steven was playing a knight, and Landon was playing a thief. And so we had no magic really, right? And I wasn't really focused on magical enemies. So, all right, so we just really didn't touch on magic. So when I was going through the rules, I didn't go heavily into the, hold on, I dropped another book. I didn't go heavily into the magic system of the rules because, I just didn't need to. And I figured, well, okay, if any of my players pick magic spells, we'll read through how those spells work, and then whatever, we'll have that down. So, yeah, the heroic feats and the magic system. I was thinking about making a video maybe tomorrow if I have time, or maybe Wednesday morning. And I was just going to go through every single one of the things alphabetically, just to go through them. Because one, I figured it'd be good for me, and two, there seem to be people interested in knowing how the magic and heroic abilities work. So yeah, that was my thought. But I figured tonight, I'd take a look at some of them, because I did look at how the magic system works, and I found it interesting because it uses like the willpower. It basically uses mana points, which I like a lot better than the spell slots. I don't think I ever liked the spell slots thing. Like, I'm trying to remember. I think 3.5 edition had it. I could be wrong, but I initially was playing in 3.5 No, you know what? I never played a spellcaster in 3.5. I played a psionic character, so I'm not sure how the spells worked in 3.5. I never played a spellcaster. So, anyways, I prefer the mana points, like the willpower thing, versus the spell slots. I don't think spell slots is intuitive, you know, and I'm like not bad at playing these type of games, but I still have some struggle, like in the few games that I've had, keeping track of, okay, how many spells, how many of the second level spells have I cast, how many of the third level spells. Maybe it becomes second nature if you've played for a long time. I've never played for that long as a caster, and so it's never become second nature. So the schools of magic in Dragonbane are animism, elementalism, mentalism, and then general magic. Mentalism. And you have various ranks of spells, and then you can have a certain number of spells prepared each day. How's it going, Flint? Going through the Dragonbane book. When my son finishes up in the shower, he's going to come and paint this jet over here. I haven't actually finished going through the magical spells in Dragonbane, as I mentioned earlier, but I had taken a look at the system, and it seems interesting because it seems kind of basic, or not basic, simple. You know, and I think I tend to like simple. Like I really like in Shadow Dark. I love the fact that you don't really have to keep track of spell slots or mana. It's just like you roll to cast a spell, and if you fail to cast the spell just you lose it for the day. And if you succeed to cast a spell, you're good. I kind of like that. It's a very easy system for my players to kind of just go, yeah, we cast some spells. You have the box set, but you haven't gotten to it yet. Oh my goodness. So what are you playing right now that has kept you from Dragonbane? And I'm not like laughing at you. I'm laughing because I do the same thing. Like I'll pick up a new system, but I have like a few other ones I'm working on. And so then I just never touch it, and it sits there for a while. I've actually managed to jump into Dragonbane a lot faster than I had expected myself to. I have Tales from the Loop, and I'm still kind of like looking at it, you know. Sometimes I get an idea, my players would really like this system, or my players may not like this system, and so that kind of spurns me on a little more. So like that pushes me forward. And Dragonbane was one of those systems where I was like, I think my players will like this. So the reason I'm going through we're playing in a Shadow Dark campaign right now, and so I'm mostly focused on that, like mostly. But since I have 2 players out this coming week, we're gonna put Shadow Dark on hold, which is a little bit of a bummer because we were kind of at a cliffhanger type of event. And anyway, so we're gonna be playing a one-shot campaign in Dragonbane. So this week I need to finish up going through the book because I was actually going to ask 2 of my players to make wizards, to make magical characters. They don't have to, but for the sake of the party and the errand that they're on, it would be a little better. But if they want to make, they can make whatever they want. Just if they want to make characters that are part of a specific story, they can make spellcasters. Some of that is because I'd actually like to get to know the spellcasting system a little better, and also get my players to know it a little better. But it's up to them. Let's see. Anutsi, good evening. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm actually enjoying digging into Dragonbane. I always do that. I put Dragonsbane. It's like it just seems like there needs to be a plural there, and so I constantly mess it up. You've been playing in a Shadow Dark live play on your channel. Interesting. I will hang on. Let me find you and hunt you down. Flint Fireforge. I would be interested in watching your Shadow Dark games. Let's see. How long has your Shadow Dark game been going? Flint Fireforge. And how many players do you have? I'm guessing I'm gonna have the question answered as soon as I find your streams and stuff. Here, let me subscribe. All right, let's see. Live plays. Oh, it looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like you have 6 players, swords and wizardry. I guess that's more recent. I see Shadow Dark. Okay, Shadow Dark has 1, 2, 3, 4 players. Cool. Thank you for letting me know. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how other people's games are going. You've been doing it about 6 weeks. It looks like you have multiple games that you're playing at the same time. Okay, you average about 3 to 5 players. Cool. Flint, have you ever played Dragonbane? Or, oh no, that's right. You just mentioned you have the box and you haven't actually gone through it yet. Well, now that you've mentioned you have other live plays going on your channel, I totally understand why you haven't opened this up. You're playing Shadow Dark, and there was another game I just saw in there that I've already forgotten the name of. I'm gonna go back. Try again, Flint. Fireforge. The other game that showed that you were playing recently was Swords and Wizardry. What is Swords and Wizardry? It looks like you have a couple other things. Oh, okay, that's talking about a hex crawl horror. Oh, interesting. Actually, maybe I could ask you. I was going to ask. I'm actually probably still going to make a video about it. I was going to ask my channel how they run horror games, because I was interested in possibly running something like Vaesen or Vaesen. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm interested in the system, so I was interested in running it. But I guess in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I don't really know how you run a horror system. And so then I was thinking about it. Okay, like how would I run a horror system? And okay, is there a way to run a horror system without leaning so heavily into, like, you know, torture or, you know, I don't know, gore? Like, is there a way to lean into horror to get your players scared without, you know, without dismemberment and stuff? And it's not like I'm opposed to it. I just want to know some more things in the wheelhouse, because obviously I can go, okay, and this terrible grisly thing is happening, and I can describe some evil, you know, necromancer tearing apart a live person, and it's like, oh, that's terrible. But like, it's only terrible because it's visceral. It's not necessarily scary. And so I was actually wondering how people play horror games in the sense of, like, how do you make it scary for your players? And the reason I ask is because I've never done that. And I think it might be this is like the exact video I'm going to be making. I'm trying and make it like a lot shorter than this, though, because this is a live stream. But essentially, I'm going to say, like, okay, I understand I've probably been playing Shadow Dark wrong, because I don't generally lean into, like, the scary stuff. You know, I don't generally, like, and, you know, it's a dark cave and all your attacks have disadvantage, and, you know, like, and then, oh, it pops out at you. Like, you know, we play it, but like my players, I don't know, I don't get the idea that they're interested in scary stuff. Like, they're always trying to, like, pick up squirrels and raccoons and make pets out of everything. And so, like, I've just leaned into what they're kind of interested in playing. So we haven't really focused on the horror aspect. Okay, so Fire Flint, you say yes, there is a way, as long as your players are in on it. Okay, so I will go and watch your Hex Crawl of Horror video, like, later on. But if you have any tips here, or if you have any suggestions for a video on your channel that would really help me understand, like, the scary aspect, you know, just I don't know if you can link it here, but otherwise just write out the name of the video and I'll go take a look at it, because I'm interested in figuring out the solution to that. Adventures with Dice, good evening, how's it going? Welcome. I'm going through the Dragonbane book because I have a one-shot we're running this weekend on Saturday. We're also talking about horror games, and Flint Fireforge was letting me know that he's got some Shadow Dark live plays on his channel. So that's, yeah, thank you. Because I mean, I have thought about doing live plays, but I don't get the sense that my players would be that into it. And I also, like, we play, like, in the same room, like in the same house, and so there's, like, a technical aspect where it's like, okay, it's not as easy as me just getting us all up on Zoom here. I'd basically have to get, like, a camera set up for downstairs in our like our living room area, and then I'd have to get, like, a couple of the players, like, streamed in. And so it was just, like, in my mind, it's like a technological nightmare to try and get, like, a live play. So I'm just like, I'm fine with it being as it is right now. But I am interested in watching other people's live plays and see how things are going. It's going good. Awesome. Anything you've been playing recently that you like? I had a chance last week to play 3 new systems. I feel like I've forgotten one of them already. Hang on. I played Pirate Borg with Dinko from our channel. I played 2 games of Pirate Borg, which was fun. Oh, I remember the last one. So I played Pirate Borg. I played Dragonbane on Wednesday, and it may have also been on Wednesday. I got started learning how to make characters in Savage World with Gary from the channel. And yeah, that was cool because those were like 3 brand new experiences in tabletop role-playing games. But despite having run a game in Dragonbane, I have not finished the book because I'm bad at that. So I get a sense of like, okay, I think I know how to run this game, and then I kind of get like overconfident, and I'm like, I can do it. I just jump into the system before I've like fully figured out. Okay, I didn't even know how magic worked, right? Or I had a rough idea how magic worked. I didn't know how like any of the spells. So most of my players were just fighting like, you know, generic NPCs and stuff, you know, like knights and bad guys. But okay, so looking at these spells, and then the point is I also want to make a video covering the spells, magic, and the heroic feats in the game. I really liked this game. I actually really enjoyed this because like now we've played Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition and we've played Shadow Dark, and I had a chance to play Pirate Borg. I'm totally blank. I had a chance to play Pirate Borg and look at Savage World. Savage World is a little more complex than I have a great comprehension of, but I'm getting more of it, and I think Gary and I are going to try and make a couple characters tomorrow. Oh, you've been playing Warhammer Fantasy. I always say this wrong. Warhammer Fantasy role playing. Okay, loving it. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I thought about picking it up. I have not seen it at my game store. The few times I've been there, unless it's like got a weird cover or something and I just haven't noticed it, I think neither of my game stores carry the book, which means I'm gonna have to get it on Amazon or something, you know. I think I prefer the physical books to the PDFs. I mean, I'll take a PDF, that's fine, and they're useful, but I really like the physicality. I don't know. I didn't used to, so this is totally new. But how is it? I mean, I've heard in the Warhammer Fantasy RPG that the leveling system is really cool. Like the classes are all very unique in the way that they level up. And that sounded interesting to me because, you know, we're playing Shadow Dark right now, and, you know, it's not so unique in the way that the characters level up. And it's not a problem. It's not a problem to me. But my players feel a little bit like, oh, my character's kind of the same as this other character, and they are a little bit right, you know, like their characters are not significant snowflake characters, right? Well, they are snowflakes because they die instantly, but they're not like unique in like a really unique way. You get what I'm saying? Like the player is kind of the unique aspect of the character class, like how they think and what they choose to do in situations. Let's see. Riddle Mound is a great adventure and everything you need is there. All right, I'm gonna write that down. Riddle Mound. So is Riddle Mound like a starter box for it? Like you basically get the rules and you get some stuff for Warhammer? Because that would be cool if like there was a way to actually get like a start. I love starter boxes, or at least I do now. So yeah, I'll look up Riddle Mound. R-I-D-D Ritter Mound. I'm saying it wrong. Ritter Mound. Okay, and that's for the Warhammer. Yeah, so I mean, if you don't mind, tell me some of the stuff you like about it. What's interesting in the system to you? And I guess if you can, like, what would you compare it to that you've also played that you liked? All right. So looking at this spell list, I think, let's see. So there aren't that many spells. Well, because initially the first thing I was going to say about this Dragonbane book is that I wish it had like a list of all the spells. Because like when you look at the Shadow Dark one, they have like, here's the rank 1 spells, rank 2 spells. Oh, I'm sorry. Ritter Mound is for Dragonbane. Oh, okay. Okay, that's great. That's very helpful because I was actually just thinking it would be nice if I had a like a small campaign or a small one-shot setting for Dragonbane, for the game that we're running this weekend. Let me go to Drive-Thru-RPG. Not driving instructions. Let's see, up here. TTRPG. Rittermound. Rittermound maps for Dragonbane. All right, cool. Oh, this is like $3? Really? So hold on. So this is Rittermound. This is good? I probably would have, if you hadn't suggested this, I probably would have turned my nose up at this. Okay, I'm excited to offer you a fantastic bundle featuring maps depicting the inner depth of a burial mound. The bundle includes detailed top-down map view maps that showcase the various described locations within the tomb of a noble knight, indispensable for navigating your adventure and bringing the setting to life. You know, it's funny. I think I saw this at some point when I was trying to look up Dragonbane campaigns. So I messaged Free League like a couple weeks ago, and you know, just was like, all right, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and see if they'll send me some of these starter boxes, because there's so many of these I want to take a look at, and it's like I just can't afford to be buying all these things. I don't really need to go through them. I got a game that we're working on and one that we're working on for Riker, and I can kind of focus on other things. But you know, I did want to go through some different game systems to give recommendations to people, you know, who are trying to play games with their kids, you know, and mostly settings that would like either teenagers or young kids would want to play. And so I messaged them and asked them about the Dragonbane starter box, and so they're sending it, they said, but it probably won't be here until like middle of October, maybe late October, I don't know when. So yeah, so I don't have the box set. I picked up the hardbound book at the store because I didn't know that the starter box came with like the full book. So I was like, well, I don't want to buy this game because I think this might be a game that I would enjoy. After like looking into it a bunch, I was like, I think the way this game plays, I think the way Dragonbane plays, it'll probably be a game that we go back to often. And so I'd like to have the real core book, like, you know, instead of having like some kind of small booklet and then I have to buy this later. I didn't know it actually was the real book that came with the starter box, so I bought this one instead. All right, let's see. The Warhammer fantasy role-playing system is very grimdark and a lot of fun. It can seem complex, but it's not really. Get the starter set for Warhammer fantasy role-playing. It's one of the best out there. Has a great adventure and pre-gen characters. That's awesome. It's a great recommendation. Thank you. And I'm going to cross off Rittermound being a Warhammer thing and write down that it's a Dragonbane thing. And I'm going to look up later on the WFRP starter set. FRP. Nope, that's RR. RP starter. All right. Thank you. Elder Goblin Games says the starter box includes, like 12 adventures tied to a small setting. Rittermound is one. I think you're looking at a fan-made map supplement to that adventure game. Okay, all right, cool. Thank you for letting me know. So they have the Quick Start Dragonbane book. I don't think that one has like the full rules, and I don't think it has the campaigns to it. Which edition are you familiar with for Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing? You've run the second edition and it's brutal. Interesting. Solari, tell me more. What do you mean by brutal? Like is it brutal like Shadow Dark, where it's like characters just dying, or is it brutal like in the descriptions of the monsters, like, you know, they're just beheading people or amputating people? Like what do you mean by brutal? I'm not familiar with any of them. Adventures with Dice was letting me know that I'm sure. Yeah. Adventures with Dice was letting me know that they're playing the Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game and they're loving it. So I was asking them some questions about it. But I've heard. What's up? You looking for dry brushes?
Where's this go?
That goes in this little thing right here. And if you're looking for a dry brush for that thing, I recommend this one right here.
Okay.
I recommend that big, fat, gnarly brush, because that'll get you covered on it. And you're gonna use that thing? Okay, that's fine.
And then where can I put the green ones away?
Oh, So you think, okay, so the introduction has Ritter Mount. Interesting. Well, the introduction's free, so I'm just gonna go ahead and
over a little bit.
I gotta move over?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
You're fine.
Okay.
Which one's the one that has painting 2?
What?
Which one's the one that has painting 2?
I don't know what you mean.
The screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hang on.
Hello, everyone.
Here? Yeah, he just finished the shower. There we go. Okay. See, now I'm not in anymore. Right, I gotta be over here or scooted in or something. Okay.
And then can I have those paints?
Hang on, what?
Those paints.
My goodness. Okay, I was in the middle of saying something and I now have no idea what I was saying. Hold on, I'm gonna move my X-Men guys so you don't destroy them with your paint. Should I go put them downstairs? Are you gonna be careful with your dry brush in here?
I'll try and be careful.
All right, because I'm sorry, my X-Men
are the best.
Are looking baller. They're looking totally cool. All right, let's see. Oh, I missed a few things. Okay, so, all right, which edition? Yeah, so not familiar with any editions of the game. Adventures with Dice says it does have Ritter Mount. Okay, so yeah, I will download the whatever this is called, the sample thing, the introduction. Let me go back and let me just download that now. Add to cart. Proceed to checkout. All right. Let's see. Oh, Karai Shinobi, good evening. Good evening to you as well. Karai just wanted to say hi. Get ready to crash. Love your stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the encouragement. And sleep well. Let's see. Do you want systems that have settings? Want systems that have settings or just rule sets? That is a great question, Nick Campbell. You know, I think I'm a little. Let's see. So I was talking about the settings versus rule sets, I think on one of my last streams, and I was just kind of like just yammering about it, just rambling, because I'm not sure which one I elevate higher than another one. And I think now that he's got his painting over here, I have no room for this book. Okay, I'm sticking your base over here and I'm putting my book there so it doesn't hit the keyboard. I think I lean a little bit more towards setting. If I'm correct, you were saying you lean more towards rules?
I feel like system is more important because if you have a bad system tied to a good setting, the game's still going to be bad.
Hold on. Well, okay, so I would probably never choose a bad system. Like if I played a system and I thought, well, this is just a bad system, I wouldn't keep playing it. I wouldn't stick with it longer than I think I knew. So since I played Dungeons and Dragons for a long time, 5th edition, and I kind of really didn't like it for a while, but I stayed in it for so long, I think the next time I play in a system where I'm like, you know, I'm not quite sure this is the system for my party or group, I would probably do everything I could to move out of that system as quickly as possible so we don't like waste time playing in a system that's not satisfying to people. Setting, I think setting matters to me. Like when I'm thinking of a game system, I'm thinking of like what the setting is, what the story is, you know, what sort of things you encounter in this world. You know, like I'm probably more sci-fi. I don't know if I can get my group to play a sci-fi game. I'm not sure if I can get my group to play a sci-fi game, but I'm probably more interested in playing sci-fi stuff. You know, like people are mentioning Star Trek Adventures or whatever, and I don't know anything about that system, but man, I love Star Trek. You know, so I'm like, oh, I'd love to play Riker. That's awesome. And I'd love to, you know, do captain's missions and stuff. All right, let's see. I asked a question about settings or rule sets. All right, Sahari says I was asking. Asking others in chat. Okay, asking others in chat. Characters die fast, and combat often ended up with some serious injuries if the players weren't careful. Okay, that is brutal. That's pretty brutal then. Adventures with Dice says he plays the 4th edition. That's the edition that people had recommended to me, was the 4th edition. So I figured if I was going to pick one of them up, I would get the 4th edition. I'm assuming that's the newest edition as well. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but excuse me. All right, so Kurai Shinobi says the hardbound book doesn't have Ritter Mount, but the box one does. They changed that up recently. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I know that the hardbound book has like, it has a little campaign at the back of it. It's called like the Robbers Baron Tower or something like that. And I looked through it. It's like, it's not bad. It's an okay. Let's see. It's called The Castle of the Robber Knight. And like it's fine. It's an okay little one-shot adventure. I'm sure it could be something that turned into a bigger thing potentially. I guess it just didn't excite me.
Forward.
What?
I'm stuck.
What are you talking about?
I'm trying to move forward.
Okay, what are you trying? Okay. Sorry. All right. Hold on. Do you need to put this up here? Here. Do you need to put this up here on the table? I will move my book. Okay. You can put that right there. There you go. Okay. That's brown. That's not gray.
I know. I'm trying to.
You're trying to get it to be gray.
Well, I thought that was a more red color.
Okay, so you want to get some of this gray in there.
I want it to be red. No. I want it to be a dark. So I want black.
You want black?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want red, not.
Okay. All right. You want red and black? Is that correct?
No, I want it to be like superheated metal.
Oh. Okay. I have no idea what you're trying to do, so I can't really help.
I'm gonna look for orange.
Orange. Okay. All right. Let's see. The hardbound. Okay. Here. It is. Okay, you can always go for a sci-fi game that has the best of both worlds, like Numenera. That's probably on my list. I don't have my iPad here. That sounds familiar, at least in the sense that I'm sure I looked. I'm sure I put that on my list. I guess I could get my iPad and double check. Or you know what? I'm just gonna make a note of it. One of the systems that actually looked really interesting to me was one of the Free League systems called Coriolis? I think it's Coriolis. I think I'm saying that right. And there was a version of the game that someone on one of their videos on YouTube, they were talking about this Coriolis game where it was like, okay, you're on this space station, but it's kind of like, run down and there's not much around you. So it's kind of like, oh, right there is like, you need to go get supplies for this space station to build it up to make it better. And that already sounded like a cool premise, because then you're like going out and flying out on missions and landing on ships and trying to bring back goods and stuff. And so like that setting sounded really interesting to me. Like if people were like, hey, what setting would you like to play? I'd be like, yeah, that Coriolis, like a space, like a miner or whatever, like a space station runner, whatever it is, like, but that sounded like Dungeons in Space, and that sounded really cool. Let's see, Adventures with Dice. Okay, so he says, I've read the fourth and it seems pretty good. They did tone down the brutality, but they made it so it gets harder and harder to recover once you start getting hit. From how I grokked it. I don't know what that means. What does grokked it mean? That's like how you understood it? Okay. Let's see, the reason you ask, Nick Campbell says, the reason you ask there are lots of simple systems that really don't have settings. I know, yeah, I think I know what you mean. That are good for families to learn, play quickly, because kids can grasp them easily, like kids on brooms and tiny dungeons. So, let's see. All right, regarding that, the two kids that we play with week to week on average are both 14 now, or one's 14, one's turning 14 soon. And so they're both like, pretty, they kind of understand game systems well.
Capable.
Even though this one doesn't like to learn new game systems.
I'm able to understand it.
Yeah, he's able to understand them, and he's able to like kind of grasp the systems. And so we don't really have problems with the systems being too crunchy for them. If anything, the crunchiness of the systems, like if we play a heavy rule set, these kids end up getting like hung up on it and like, but the rules say, and so they end up having like all these challenges for the person running the game, namely me, and so there's like some butting heads there on occasion. The people who have trouble with the game's complicated rule set are my wife and his mom, my ex-wife. So those two people, like they don't like, each time they had a turn in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, it'd be like a few minutes, I don't want to exaggerate and say like it was like the longest turns. Sometimes his turns were really long.
I had so much that my character could do where I could like annihilate, because he 50 damage in a turn.
He metagame built his characters so that on the first turn they could take 5 attacks. Was it 5 attacks?
Yeah, I think so.
5 attacks, doing an average of 18 damage per attack. It was crazy. So hard to plan around that, like a little murder spree.
I think it was only 5 if I had haste from Marshall's.
Oh, was it? Okay. So it was like on average 4 attacks per turn that were doing 18 damage a hit. Anyway, so him and his friend can do like the metagaming thing. My friend in Thailand, Marshall, and his uncle, they both handle the systems pretty well. So when I'm thinking of game systems, like whether they should be easy or complex, for our game night, we could probably do with something middling complexity, like Dragonbane would be fine. Shadow Dark is definitely fine.
Dragonbane, my mom wouldn't like.
Why not?
Because
you don't think your mom would like Dragonbane?
Because she wants the role playing and stuff.
You can still role play.
Yeah.
You think okay? Now that you guys have had a chance to play in a game setting where you needed to role play, I think you guys would be able to handle a game setting where you could role play, and possibly it does save your life on occasion. Because now that I'm running like a hex crawl game, there's no chance I'm going back to balancing encounters. Yeah. Like you're never going to get a balanced encounter ever again. That's just not fun. So you're gonna get like, hey, you got to do something with this dragon, right? And this dragon
doesn't matter. It can kill you or
You talk to this dragon, maybe it wants something from you, you know. Let me see. Get back to where I was at. Okay, sci-fi. No, let's see. Okay, the only reason you asked me, all right, yeah. So when it comes to game complexity, generally I'm looking for easier game systems because in the back of my mind, I would like to find a system that my younger son Riker could play. And also there's several of the kids that we know that would probably struggle with more complex systems, and even like Landon's dad like struggled a little bit with Dragonbane. So Landon's dad would have a hard time in Shadow Dark because he doesn't know what to do.
Well, he doesn't like the role playing.
Yeah, he doesn't like
no role playing.
He doesn't yeah, I get the sense he doesn't like any of the stuff where he's like gonna pretend to be the character. He really struggled with that. So all right, let me continue on. Okay, sci-fi fantasy, not the same as sci-fi. Okay. Yeah, Coriolis, that's the one. That one looks exciting to me. So that one I would be interested in trying out. To grok something means to understand and internalize something. I've not heard that before. Thank you. All right. And Adventures in Dice, sadly I have to head to bed. You're on the East Coast, okay? Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. You love our channel.
I'll be on the East Coast pretty soon.
You're gonna be on the East Coast soon?
Yeah, because I remember in Thanksgiving I always go down to the East Coast.
Oh, are you still doing that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure how it was gonna work out this year. Okay.
I think that's still the plan.
Good night to you as well, Adventures with Dice. All right. So I was going to attempt to go through some of this magic just to familiarize myself a little bit with it.
At dry brushing.
You're so what?
Bad at
oh,
dry
are you?
brushing.
You're not. Are you trying to dry brush right now? Is this you trying to?
This
Okay.
is
Can I show you?
Don't grab it as I'm in the middle of.
Can I show you? Okay.
Well, I know you have to get most of the.
Oh my goodness! What are you doing with all that water? Oh. No. What are you doing with all that water? Anyways, okay, that doesn't matter. Why are you? Okay, don't you know how to dry brush? Okay, all right.
No.
You don't know how to dry brush at all.
Well, I know how to. You have to get the.
Before you take the brush to the plane, you gotta see what. I can't believe you. This is like the only way I paint stuff if I have a choice.
This is the only way.
Hang on. Shh, get out of here. Get out of here. Get all this.
Not the only way.
You gotta get all this. And you ruin up my perfectly good rainbow pattern on my tray. Okay, hold on. That's okay. It's still a little damp inside, so you don't want that much water on it. Here, I'm gonna get you a proper dry brush just here.
Okay, because that one was not good.
So that we can't blame the brush. Okay, you just put that. You gotta wash that. Don't put it next to my other brushes that are clean. All right.
I'll put it here.
I'm gonna give you a good large dry brush.
Yes.
This is like a $3 brush. Okay.
Okay.
The best dry brushes should be like makeup brushes. Okay, I'm gonna put this.
I actually had a makeup brush. I do know how to dry brush.
Hold on.
No, I know.
I'm just gonna give you a little bit. Okay, right. So, you get the. Okay, you got that.
Yeah.
Okay, and you go do this. Okay, and you want to do this until you see it to like barely be putting stuff on.
Yeah, I know how to dry brush.
Right.
I did it before with a big makeup brush, and it was really easy.
The other thing you want to try and do is stippling. Okay, so you get a lot of extra paint and you go tap. It won't give you as smooth of a look, but it's good for getting the paint on there. All right, so going back to Dragonbane. You stop distracting me. All right. So the heroic abilities, okay, there's core skills, right? Okay. All right, are we bluffing on? Okay, all that heroic abilities. And some of these can be linked together easily with certain requirements. I kind of wish there was a thing showing what it links to at the top of it, so that I knew how to put them together in a character. Like maybe there's something that connects with deflect arrow or dragon slayer or double slash. That would be helpful to know if it connects with another thing, like maybe like a hyperlink. It might even be easier for players to put those into their characters as well. Yeah, you know what? I think that's Nick Campbell. I think that's exactly what Steven was struggling with. Having unlimited possibilities that you could do with your character would probably be very frustrating for him. So we played Mouse Ritter, like one session of Mouse Ritter with his friend Landon's sister, and Steven. And Steven just wouldn't even try. Like he was sitting back on the couch and he was like, I don't know. He was like frustrated. And so like it was just too many options. And so my thought was Dragonbane might work for him because Dragonbane gives you a set of skills that kind of indicates to you some of the things you should try doing with the world. Like try to use crafting on the world, try to use, bow skills on the world, right? It kind of reminds me of like one of those old point and click adventure games where you'd have like Indiana Jones, and Indiana Jones is like, I want to do something with the door. And it's like, I'm going to open the door. I'm going to unlock the door. I'm going to put the door in my pocket, right? Like that type of thing.
The door in your pocket?
Well, you had a bunch of options and you could choose to try and apply the option, and it didn't always work. And, and Indiana Jones would be like, that's a stupid idea or whatever. He never played any of these classic games. These were awesome. These were the Sierra and, well, who was the other company, the big company that made them? It was Sierra and, man, I can't remember the other company that used to make a lot of those point and click adventure games. All right, that's a bummer. All right. So it looks like, let me get a quick count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Okay, so there's 45 heroic skills or feats, whatever, like the feats in the game. And I also think that these feats give a little bit of focus. Like, so one of the thoughts I had about our weekly game sessions was maybe we'd switch over from Shadow Dark to Dragonbane. I don't really want to switch because we've only been playing Dragonbane for like 8 sessions, or we've only been playing Shadow Dark for 8 sessions, and I don't think it's enough time to actually get a feel for the game system. But with how everyone plays in the game session, I get the sense that if I were playing Shadow Dark the way Shadow Dark is supposed to be played, you guys probably wouldn't have that much fun. Because like right now, a lot of your focus is like, we want to collect small squirrels and raccoons and make them our pet friends. Like, you guys are playing like a different version of the game, right? But like this game is supposed to be like, you're in a dungeon, it's dark, you have disadvantage, and there's goblins. Like, it's supposed to be...
My squirrel goes and kills the guy.
No, it's supposed to be like your squirrel gets eaten and its head is torn off in front of you and you cry. And I'm just not playing that
I don't think any of us would like that.
Right, I'm not playing that hard into it. Like, we did have a brutal first session, and we have had like characters leave the party by choices, but you guys have largely done a good job negotiating with monsters and not getting yourself killed. I think you could do the same thing in Dragonbane, and I think Dragonbane would give you a little more mechanics for focusing on like the kind of fun you guys want to be having. At least that's my thought. My other thought is the game that would be perfect would be Wild Sea. Like, Wild Sea is one of those games where it's like, I don't know, like I'm
No, sorry.
Would you
Stick it in water.
Anyways, Wild Sea looks pretty incredible. Let's see. Yeah, we're totally doing Disney meets Shadow Dark, Flint. It's like,
that's true.
Okay, we started off pretty grim, and I wouldn't say like horrific, but we started off pretty grim. And the moment my players encountered like these spiders, they tried to make friends with it. right? And it's like, okay, I just...
we were like Lex was petting him. I was the one who was like, let's do this. Is like, time to either run or kill.
Right. So there was a couple people going like, we should run or kill these guys. But then like most of my party...
it was just me and Marshall.
Okay, so
Everyone
just him and... So a third of my party was trying to make good on like, they was trying to get out of there because they thought they were going to die. And the other 4 players were like, these things are cute. Let's bring them back as friends. And so I'm like reading the room and going, okay, my players want to be befriending the monsters. I'm gonna lean into it, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not sure if this is Shadow Dark anymore, you know? Let me see, I missed something. Let's see, sounds okay. So, you believe the Dragonbane PDF is hyperlinked. Don't remember if it hyperlinks or what you're talking about, though. Okay. Let's see. Shadow Dark can be the Pokemon Squirrel game as well. Yeah, we are kind of,
we're definitely playing the Pokemon Squirrel game.
Yeah. Okay, last session, one of the reasons why our shopping took so long, I totally see what you're saying, Flint. And one of the reasons why our session took so long is because one of my players wanted to go out into the forest and find a squirrel. And initially,
raccoon.
A raccoon. And initially, I think he wanted to try and eat it or feed it to the mushroom people that they found. Or something, but then like once he had it, like he wasn't eating it and he wasn't trying to take it to the mushroom people, and I think he wanted to have a pet, you know. And I'm like,
everyone else had
pets. Everyone has pets. Like they got a spider, you know. His mom has a squirrel. Like everyone's collecting pets, and I'm like, why aren't we playing Wild Sea right now? Like seriously, we should be playing in the treetop, the treetop skyship game where everyone collects little dragons and fungal monsters. And I'm just not sure why we aren't playing that game, because that's what everyone's trying to make this game. And yeah, I totally agree. So Flint says nothing in Shadow Dark should be your friend. Okay, and it's like, okay, some of that is my fault, and some of that is me going, I'm trying to read the room here. I think if I played Shadow Dark the way Shadow Dark is supposed to be played, I'd get a lot of disappointed players. And so
but it's fine to be playing the game the way we want to play.
No, sure. No, absolutely. Right. Hey, as Tabletop Minions guy says, if you have faith in yourself, you can play it however you want to. You know, if you believe in yourself, play the game how you like. And so what Shadow Dark did for us was essentially give us a new rules system with which we can kind of play. We're sort of playing Narnia right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sort of playing Chronicles of Narnia, the Shadow Dark game. And so, but at this point, we could take any rule system and throw it into the same campaign. And so long as it was not D&D crunchy, so long as it was not Pathfinder or Shadowrun. No, Shadowrun, thank you. I was trying to think of the other complicated system people talk about. Shadowrun or GURPS or something. My players would probably have a fine time with it.
Well, GURPS, we can make it whatever we want.
Yeah, I think I've heard that. That's what I've heard about GURPS. Let's see. It's pretty robust, like 5e is. And we're talking about, let's see. Nick Campbell, when you say it's pretty robust like 5e is, are you talking about Shadow Dark? Sorry, no, are you talking about Dragonbane? It just doesn't define the mechanics beyond a few simple rules to direct the GM. Okay, so let's see. Getting in Shadow Dark is not your friend. Okay, challenge accepted. You will run Shadow Dark Friends Only Edition. Okay, and I wouldn't say that's exactly what we're doing, because there are, like right now, my players are in the middle of an encounter that is going sour for them, and like I made a video just before.
At least I gotta kill them.
Yeah. So I made a video just before we started the stream talking about the GM professor. No, sorry, the DM professor. No, is it professor? No, philosopher. The DM philosopher. And he had a video talking about like how to keep your players engaged, and it was a helpful video. I watched it, or listened to it while I was walking, and it gave me a lot of ideas to kind of get my campaign, get this one encounter back on track, because in my mind it had gone off a little off on track. So it was really helpful. That was really helpful, and got me a little bit encouraged about our next game session. Okay, so you're saying Shadow Dark is robust like 5e. And I've seen that as well. It has like well fleshed out monsters. It's got like a good magic system. There's a lot of solid stuff in the game that I like, and that's the reason why I think we're playing it. But I am not holding to the setting that the game is kind of intended for. Like the game is intended for a setting where it's like it's gritty and edgy and everything is a little bit metal. and I'm like, like it's that's not what we're playing.
Rainbows and ponies.
It's not rainbows and ponies, but it's close. It's pretty close to rainbows and ponies. So, all right.
I don't think many people would be. I don't think most of the people in the session would be mad if it was rainbows and ponies.
I'm trying to put this out of the way of your dry brush. Okay, so I guess I have to find a place for the keyboard to go here, or I have to clear off. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll clear off this paint over here, so that we have this painting area.
Putting your hands in the way.
Oh shush. So I'll have that painting area because right now you're kind of in my reading space with all your business. All right, let's go count up spells. I think I counted 40 something of these heroic abilities. All right, initiative, rounds, critical. Let me find the magic system. Did I pass the magic system? There we go. Casting spells. Magic and metal. Okay, yeah. So I like all the simplicity in the magic system here. I think I already mentioned I like the the mana points or will points.
Yeah, will is actually pretty nice.
I like that more.
It's like you can do whatever your abilities are with your will, and it's not these separate points that have nothing to do with anything else, which is a nice thing.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
your abilities are based off will.
Right, and so you pick a magic character. So I think I was telling chat earlier for the one-shot campaign. For the one-shot campaign this weekend, I was going to ask at least one of you to make a magic character. One, so that we can see how magical characters work in the game, and two, because I think it fits the story a little bit better.
Okay.
Nick Campbell says, yeah, you can make it a lighter setting if you want. Shadow Dark's rule sets really wants you to explore the world since you level through treasure, right? It's written as Dark World, but that's flavoring. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I leaned into. Like, there's been a couple fights where they had torches, and some monsters tried to go for their torches. But most of them, with how frail and fragile the players are, I'm guessing that one of two things generally happens. Like, either players are constantly dying, or players are constantly trying to talk their way out of a situation. And I'm not really sure how else would a player run a Shadow Dark game, which sure, certainly makes it interesting and makes it so the players are constantly trying to role play their characters well. But I don't think there's ever a point in Shadow Dark where characters are going to get the idea like, look, we can totally take this room. Even if it's...
Except for when I rode my horse and murdered that witch and
Well, that witch was already in the middle of... Yeah, that witch was already in the middle of attacking one of your fellow players, though. So
yeah,
that was fine. I understand that. And you rode in trying to defend a player, as opposed to if you just saw that witch, would you just go and I'm gonna go take this chick down?
No.
Right. So. It's a game where you wouldn't go murder hobo, and so I've liked that about it. Let's see. So acquiring pets becomes XP reward essentially because they're exploring and getting something they value. That's a clever idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Well, yeah, okay, so the other thing I've thought about was, since everyone seems to be so interested in collecting pets in the game, and the world setting that we're playing in happens to be a world where there's these magical towers that funnel a lot of the magic of the world, and one of those towers breaks. So immediately it's like the power line being cut, so there's this friction in the world. And so there's the potential for these creatures to start having abilities or something, and I could play into that. And I already thought okay, hey, I can Landon had a raccoon last game and it ran away. That thing can come back and interact with him, and I don't know, I can, since my players want this sort of Pokemon adventure with animals,
Disney
Pokemon, I might as well lean into it. And at the same time, my other thought is maybe because Shadow Dark doesn't really have any mechanics for that type of thing that I've seen, maybe there is some other system that would be better suited to my players. I'm interested in trying out a few different various systems. I want to try the Alien RPG. I want to try the Coriolis. I want to try a couple of the other Free League games. Symbaroum is one of them. Wild Sea, I definitely want to I guess that's the thing on the back of my mind. Like, maybe I don't want to start my players jumping into Dragonbane because I kind of think that my players want to be playing in Wild Sea. And like what little I have heard about and read of Wild Sea, I get the sense that the game that they probably would really like is that, you know, where you have like a ship. The ship is like traveling through this like strange exotic land. You know, you've got weird, you know, like you have weird characters and classes and stuff, and all the characters are very unique, and the magic system is very unique. So I have the sense that that's the game my players are kind of secretly wanting Shadow Dark to be. No one's complained, you know, no one's complained about it, but just the way they're playing, I guess it's giving me that idea. Let's see. Nick says, I follow. Players should never run in guns blazing, but you can resolve combat through clever thinking, such as setting fire to a cave to smoke. Oh yeah, smoke and choke out the goblins. You want to think more. No, you're right, and I think Shadow Dark is the system that has inspired that kind of behavior much more than we experienced in Dungeons and Dragons, and it's possible that other systems can inspire that too, but I think by the very nature of the way Shadow Dark is designed, with squishy characters with low hit points that don't have a lot of super killy options to them, you are like in a game where you're kind of trying to do creative thinking like at all times. Like you're trying to figure out how to solve this problem of these monsters either by negotiation or by tactics, you know, like in environments, and like I guess all the players become Jackie Chan. You know,
like we did in that Beholder fight. I shoved a torch into his mossy eye. First they shot oil into his eye.
Oh, so first one of you guys shot oil, like you used a little oil squeeze thing, and squeezed a container of oil in his eye. And then you went and threw a torch into his eye area, right?
And I rolled a nat 20 on it.
Yeah, there we go. And then his uncle, while he was transformed into a rat, jumped into the eye.
The flaming eye.
The fire killed the rat, so he transformed back into his normal size, taking damage from the fire, and exploded out.
Also taking damage from exploding.
Yeah, and also exploding out from the thing. So it was pretty epic. But that was them thinking very crafty and resourcefully, trying to solve a difficult fight. I think they did a good job. And that was also a really fun fight because it was like up against the wire the whole time.
Everyone was dying.
Let's see, Shadow Dark Zoo. Yeah, we are playing a little bit of Shadow Dark Zoo. Because again, why aren't we playing Wild Sea? It was just, okay, it was so hard to get my players to go from D&D 5th edition to Shadow Dark. But I think it might be easier going forward because like a lot of them have said they really like this system better. You know, like, am I correct?
We all have.
Okay, so I think everyone said like, we really like playing the system better. It's so much better. We have so much more fun than playing D&D. Did you guys have fun playing? Did you have fun playing Dragonbane?
Yes.
Okay. Which one's more fun to you, Dragonbane or Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition?
Dragonbane.
Okay. Which one's more fun to you, Dragonbane or Shadow Dark?
Depends.
Depends on what?
Like I don't actually know because I like Shadow Dark with our group, but I'm not sure how I would like Dragonbane with our group. Okay. Like the way we played Dragonbane that time was fun, but also some of it was my character because my character was a little broken.
Okay.
Like, was really
and so,
powerful.
Are you worried that if you have? Well, you were almost all, but all of you were almost all dead.
We were all almost dead.
And I also underplayed the troll because he had ferocity.
What's that mean?
He had the ability to attack twice per turn. He gets 2 initiative cards.
He did attack.
I forgot it the first turn. That probably would have killed you guys.
Okay. Well, no, but
again, Landon had. But again, that would have been a deadly fight. That fight would have been deadly. We'll talk about that one in a second. Hey, let me get back here. So, I've never played Wild Sea, so I can't provide input there. Shadow Dark is your current primary campaign system, so it's what you're most familiar with to address. Okay. Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment. The moment with the Beholder. So, Nick Campbell, tell me what is your. I'm gonna assume that you're playing Shadow Dark the right way. You're gonna be like, I wouldn't
say there's a right way.
Well, I mean, okay, All right, if I play a Star Trek game, can I put lightsabers in it?
Yeah.
Of course I can. You're darn straight I can put lightsabers in it, but that's not playing Star Trek the right way. Because Star Trek is not sci-fi redneck, right? Like Star Trek is like high sci-fi. Like Star Trek is like
Hi, lame.
shush. It's like we're going to discuss the prime directive of this thing, right? Whereas like Star Wars is like redneck sci-fi. Okay, I say that being a Star Wars fan.
Baller sci-fi.
Okay, I say that being a Star Wars fan, or at least I used to be. Anyway, so I get the idea that you might be playing Shadow Dark the right way. How is it for you? What's it like for your party, your players? Because like it's been a really fun game system for us. We've enjoyed playing it. I've liked the campaign that we're in. We've only actually had one session that I would consider bad, which was this last session. But otherwise, we've had a good time. And even not laying heavily into the darkness thing, and like my players are constantly trying to negotiate with goblins and basically everyone, spiders. Anyways, and since they're trying to do that, I am leaning into it. And some of the reason I'm leaning into it is because I'm not really quite sure what they're supposed to do if I didn't. That's kind of being honest. Like, if I have a group of 10 spiders and my 6 players go up to fight them, it's like, well, that's probably 3 dead players if I play the spiders well, And so if I don't allow my players to do the negotiating and the tactics and stuff, like, well, what are they supposed to do? Okay, so they reach into their bag and they get a 10-foot pole and they try a trick or a trap or something. Anyway, so I guess there's like, my thought is like, it seems like it might be a system that you either have dead players like every game, and maybe that's fun. Maybe that's fun for people. We had fun in the Gauntlet, I think. Are you having fun now that you're playing a new character? Like initially you were bummed that you lost your character because the story kind of consumed them. But are you having fun now that you're playing a new character?
Yeah, I enjoyed this character.
Okay, all right. So I mean, yeah,
they're less good at. It's harder to role play them, sort of like with the negotiating out. But I like them. I like my character still because I like this character's much better at combat, I think.
Okay, so you like being good at combat.
Yeah.
Okay. Nick says, not right away. My players were prisoners shipped off on a penal colony in a jungle. They go explore ruins to pay off their debt so they can return to the mainland, but torches aren't important. Interesting. Tell me about that. So are you not playing in the dark, or are you giving them other sources of light? Yeah, I'm curious about that. Because I mean that's one of the things is like, okay, I haven't leaned heavily into the dark, and not because it's not interesting, but because it's like, all right, well, it's going to be giving my players disadvantage on all the stuff they do. And that's, sure, that's an interesting mechanic. It makes my players have to keep like a slot free for torches all the time, right? There's inventory management. I just don't get the sense that my players find that fun.
My mom definitely doesn't like
his mom definitely doesn't. His mom does not like the inventory management. I don't think would she like the torches? Does she like it? Like if I leaned heavily into the darkness and like...
Well, it doesn't really bother her because she doesn't ever have to carry the torches, really.
Sure, she's also playing like a stealthy character, but I'm being really gracious with yes, there's a light source here or a light source here, right? And so she can kind of pop in and out and do her little shadow step ninja attack thing. But like I haven't been super aggressive with like the negative outcomes and stuff. Or with the darkness and the killing my players. The Gauntlet, we killed lots of players in the Gauntlet, so I think my players killed lots of characters in the Gauntlet, not players. And I think my players got used to that.
Did kill us.
I murdered all my players.
Yes.
Let's see. But the concept of the torch is just a tension timer. So, you use diseases for that purpose. That's wicked. Okay, so tell me about that. Okay, if there's a diseases section in the book, could you tell me where it is? Because I haven't noticed it yet. Or is it in one of the cursed scrolls, or is it something you're like homebrewing? Kumi the Bear. Hey lads, Shadow Dark is flexible. My group has been going 55 sessions. Wow, approximately level 4. And for the last 20 sessions, you have been straight up using the 5e book Tomb of Annihilation. Interesting. Your games are basically heroic fantasy, and all you've done is give them 1 luck token at the start of each session. You've had like 3 deaths in a year of gameplay. Okay, so Kumi, tell me what's going on. Like how so? Okay, I was mentioning earlier. I don't know how long you've been on, but I was mentioning earlier that like when my players come up into like a serious conflict, for example, they came up to these spiders, right? And I played it out the way it kind of happened. So I tried to play it organically. The spider was coming out and, was a scout. And so initially probably would have attacked if it wasn't just a scout. But the spider sees that, the big bad evil guy is dead. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, these people might be really threatening. And so my players come out and they start to play into the idea that they're really threatening. And, when the Lolth Queen comes and like, I didn't have her play and come in like aggressive, like she did. Hey, well, she started. She threw him up against a wall. But I used a spell to block. He cast Tensor's floating disc to try and keep her back, which I thought was a clever use of the spell. Anyways, so she did come in aggressive, but was kind of like, hey, what'd you do to my boss? What's going? Who are you? What are you doing here? Why did you kill him? He was doing a ritual. And so instead of that thing turning into a destructive fight, that turned into a negotiation. And right away I got some people in the comments saying like, hey, that's not how I play my spiders. Like I play spiders like, crunchy, chewy, they eat bone. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely a way to go with spiders. But like my players were like petting spiders and trying to like make friends with them. They're giving them rations. And so there was a part of me that was just like, you know what? This feels like the way to let my players survive this thing. Like this feels like because this is a deadly encounter that they would have to be very creative and clever to come through. And what's wrong with their clever response being negotiation and tactics and taking an aggressive stance in dialogue? And so I leaned into it, and now they got like a pet spider, and now everyone wants pets, and I think it's gonna get more grim soon. I think there's gonna be some stuff like that plays into the grim, but I still don't know how fun I find the torch, like the torches and lights thing, like with the hey, you just have disadvantage all the time. All right, so Nick says there isn't a disease section or anything. Okay, you just homebrewed it really quickly, but you roll a con check for them in secret. At 15 minutes, you say you're starting to find it really hot. Oh, okay, you start to find it really hot. Palms are sweating. Interesting. Okay, that's kind of a cool mechanic. At 30 minutes, your throat is tight. Breathing is harder. So on. At 1 hour, they start the disadvantage. Okay, like their torches are going out. And they can treat with some basic antidotes, oranges, etc. Interesting. Okay. And that... I'll have to think about that. Like that doesn't, I don't know if that, I think that doesn't bother me nearly as much as the torches. And I've already started to actually play that out a couple times. So my players encountered a orc witch doctor who was part like aberrant, and flung something at one of my players and basically injected them with a like a larva. And so they swallowed this, not injected, but like they hit them and forced a larva down the player's throat. And so
you're trying to play alien.
Well, I wasn't really trying to play alien. It just kind of happened that way with the attack, and that's how the monster card read. Like they start to like I think the monster card said that the monster card said slowly over the next 10 days or over the next 1d 10 days. Was it 2d6?
Yeah.
And then over the next 2d6 days, they turn into one of these creatures. And so I was playing that out. So this thing was just happening, and so Marshall was like, he had one of these things in his mouth, and he's like starting to. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna play it like it's in his stomach. So there's this thing in his stomach, and you feel it poking. So he goes to the barber and has the barber slice him open, and then the thing comes and attacks. And my player really liked that. He thought that was really fun. Let's see. Yeah, you basically just reflavored the torch mechanic to something else ostensibly. Yeah, I can see that, and I don't know. Somehow it doesn't. I'm not saying that the torches annoy me. It's not like it's an annoying system. It's just my players don't really like when they have disadvantage for any reason, whatever, and they got to relight the torch. I feel like
it'd be dumb to have to use a new action. I'd be fine with losing a torch, but I would hate to lose the action.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't care if I lost a torch. I might eventually get upset. Like, we've had 5 torches put out or something. That'd be annoying.
Okay.
But
Sure.
it'd be more annoying to have to use an action to relight it.
Okay. Flint says that's a good idea, Nick Campbell. And Kumi the Bear says, guess the point is that it doesn't have to be grim. Shadow Dark is basically a trimmed down version of 5e with some old school design principles. The setting is just a metal aesthetic. Yeah, that makes sense. And you know what? That's why I haven't really been that bothered. I haven't really been that bothered playing it this way, because it's been fun. My players have enjoyed it. We're engaged in like the role play a lot more than we were in 5th edition. And it's been easy to run. Like that's like the other thing is like when we were playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, like there was plenty of times where I'm like, I'm not looking forward to the game. You know, like the moment one player would call out sick, I'd be like, let's play Star Wars Imperial Assault. Let's play Zombicide, right? Like it's instantly the possibility for me to like play a board game or something instead of playing Dungeons and Dragons, because like running the monsters and running the campaign and like memorizing all the stuff that's supposed to happen on page 10 of the campaign, and then like my players get there and see the problem with like the campaign that we were running was like there was stuff where like, okay, they need this thing from this person and this person has to say this thing and they need to make a certain DC check to get that thing, and if they don't get that thing then they can't go in this room, and if they can't go in this room, and it was all that kind of stuff. And so it was like at the time I just didn't really know how to run the game other than that. You know, I didn't really know how to run it like as a hex crawl. And that's a lot more fun. Like when I started doing that was just way more fun. So I'm happy to be playing Shadow Dark because it's easier for me too. And it's easier for me, like just even in the mechanics, like the monster cards are so much easier. It's so nice. Nick Campbell says, yeah, I don't always attack the torch. I want to vary it up so my players always have to think on their toes. Like when they did go underground into a crypt, used torches and had humidity kick in. That's cute or cool. That's a good idea. Yeah. It also encourages the DM to improve and create. Pets, just figure it out with what you already know about the Shadow Dark rules. Yeah. But Nick says, but also go with the creatures want to break your bones. Strength damage. Interesting. Man, you're giving me all sorts of good ideas. Don't say too much more. He plays in the game.
I don't want my bones broken. Here, can it be like Constitution damage? Because I already have really low Constitution.
No, it's gonna be strength damage.
But that's my only good stat.
Flint,
except for actually I have some other good stats.
Flint says, okay, all got to crash. Have an awesome night. Thank you so much, Flint, and thank you for letting me know about your channel. I have you. I've subbed to you, and I'll go check out your playthroughs. I'm guessing I'm going to learn a lot from watching your play of Shadow Dark, or at least get an idea for a different gameplay. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. Good night. So I'm going to attempt to continue reading this magic book, and I will try not to get too distracted. One of the other things I really like in the Dragonbane book is the idea of improvised weapons being part of the system. So there's like ways that you can use the environment around you to fight against creatures.
With the brawling skill?
Yeah, that's one way. I don't know if you have to have the brawling skill for it. I guess let me see what it says. Battles sometimes fought in places where things in the environment can be used in combat as weapons for protection or for movement. These improvised weapons can be lots of different things, but what they all have in common is that they normally can only be used once, after which they are consumed. Using an improvised weapon is an action. It can be combined with a movement. Examples of improvised weapons can be found at the end of this book. They are printed on cards if you buy the Dragonbane core set. At the start of combat, the GM can randomly determine D3 improvised weapons that are available, or simply decide for themselves. The GM can mark an improvised weapon's exact location on the map, or say that it's available anywhere in the area. Once used, an improvised weapon is consumed. Complete adventures can feature new and unique improvised weapons that are connected to a certain adventure site. I'm guessing they might use the brawler thing. Let me go look and see how the brawler feat says that it's supposed to be used. There was a brawler one, right?
It's a skill.
Thank you. So, that's what I meant. Skill brawler. There we go. No, I don't see brawler.
Brawling.
I see bluffing, bushcraft.
It's an attack. It's a weapon skill.
It's a weapon skill. Okay, so I'm looking at axes, bows, brawling. I missed it. Sorry, you're right. Brawling, strength, used for unarmed combat with fists, feet, teeth, or claws. Yeah, I'm guessing you could make a character that's just heavily brawling, and I could totally lean into the
bite off his eye.
Environmental weapons and stuff. You bite off his eye?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Let's see. Okay, so Nick Campbell is recommending I check out the Shadow Dark Discord. There's always someone running games you can play in or just watch there. You'll see it being used as intended there, but also how they push the system. That's okay. I have subscribed, or I am whatever you call it. I'm a part of the Shadow Dark Discord. I've just never really paid that much attention to it. Not for any particular reason. I just yeah, I'll go back in there and check. Thank you. It's a good recommendation. So I can go back there, and I would actually like to try and play a game. That would be fun. So I think it'd be fun for me to get a chance to play in the system and figure out what I dislike about it or what I like. And it would also be fun to make like a magic character in that system and see how it plays. So let me go back to the magic. I'm going to quickly go through some of the spells and get an idea for how they work. It looks like there's a whole bunch of salamander, gnome. I don't know why these. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and like read these in order. So there's 3 different types of magic.
I remember the gnome in the in Talisman when we played.
Oh, the gnome.
Gnome.
We played a game of Talisman. We played a game of Talisman on Friday, and we hadn't played in like a long time. And
it had been like 2 or 3.
It had been like a couple years. And like I'm not a big fan of Talisman. Like it's fine. Like I'll play it. Like I don't hate it or anything. But this guy really wanted to play it, and like
I thought it would be a lot more fun than it
we
was.
started playing it, and like the moment his character got turned into a frog, he was just done. And my character died like pretty quickly as well. So it ended up being Landon making it up to the Crown of Command. And as Landon was going around to the Crown of Command, he got to the vampire. How many of his NPCs did he feed to the vampire?
I think like he had
I think he had to feed 3 NPCs to the vampire. It was the most.
He fed his horse.
His horse. That's right. Yeah.
The gnome that helped him get through, which was the funniest one.
Yes, it was the gnome that actually got him through. Let's see. You always like being a player to see how someone else runs things, and figuring out what you'd change. That's interesting. All right, thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, I'll definitely check out their Discord this week and see if I can just jump in on a. Do they have pug games, or do you need to like schedule them or something? Yeah, I guess if you got to schedule them, I'll schedule one, because I've been doing that with I did that with the Pirate Board game, and that was really fun. It was really fun to jump into a Pirate Board game and just play, and kind of be casual about it. All right, so the general magic. You have magic tricks like fetch, make a loose object no heavier than weight 1 within 10 meters of you float. Flick. You give an object or creature within 10 meters a magical flick. The attack inflicts 1 point of damage and can, for example, shatter glass. Okay, so I guess fetch. Can you throw the objects at them? You make a loose object no heavier than weight 1 within, float to you. So, that doesn't sound like it's an attack. You have light. You create a bright light that shines from a focus of your choice. It illuminates a 10-meter radius around the area. Your focus lasts 1 shift. What is this? Okay. From a focus of your choice. What does that mean? You create a bright light that shines from from an object. Okay, I got you. So you cast light on an object. It illuminates in a 10-meter radius around the object and lasts for 1 shift of time. So this whole shift thing I kind of got to get used to, because it's like short, medium, and long periods of time, and I haven't gotten used to their terminology. Where's the shift thing? Let's see. Talisman, that's an effort. Yeah, it's not my favorite game. It's like a long way of playing something to eventually just die to someone sitting on a crown. Like, it's so unepic the way the deaths occur. It's like you're finally trying to like make your way through the inner circle, and you're just dying. So yeah, it's okay. Okay, so apparently there's both in the Discord. There are schedules, but there are almost always an open seat as well. Have you played any of them? Are you playing in any of them? And do you know anyone there? Like, am I speaking to someone who has an inside man? If you've got an inside man, like, I don't know, just let me, I'm in the Discord there, but like, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna give you my Discord name so you can friend me.
He wants to play with you.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm trying to say. I'd like to play with you. I'd like to play with you, Nick. So if you've got like a game running or you're running a game, I'd love to jump in with a game with you. Thank you. That's actually exactly what I was trying to say.
There, does that?
And it's not that I have a problem just jumping into a random game. I jumped into like 2 random games, but it also helped that I knew the person running it, because like, I don't know, the person I knew who was running it was nice, and they were patient. Like, I don't know, they weren't like a jerk. Not that I'm saying everyone online playing in pug games is a jerk, but I would like to avoid that, I guess. So, see, I want to hit up Evown. Man, how am I supposed to say that? Evo Unnamed. There we go, I got it. Evo Unnamed. Okay, I'm gonna try and hit up Evo Unnamed. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. I am not good at Discord. Add a status, add a profile. Let's see, what is it? Trying to add a friend or something. Let's click on that again. What is this? Add a group DM. Oh, there we go. Search. Thank you. Okay, all right. Search Evo Unnamed. Oop, wrong. Not an R. ED. What am I doing? Okay. No, I did it wrong. You don't run any games there. You write adventures and help people with designers. Do you play any games there? Because once again, I'm like, can I tag along? Let's see. There we go. Okay, so I want Evo, EVOUNAMED. Send friend request. Friend request failed. It didn't work. Double check the username is correct. Maybe it needs to be capitalized. Probably needs to be capitalized. Let's try that. EVOUNAMED. Okay. I feel like I'm doing that right. Send friend request. Okay, still didn't work. All right. I'm obviously spelling your name wrong, so I'm gonna figure out what mine is. Here we go. And then I'm going to switch this over so you can just look at my thing. Yeah, hey, anyone who's watching this stream right now, no, I want Jacob. There you go. There you go. That's anxiety-free games. Just, whatever. Friend me or whatever, because I'm having a really fun time playing these games, like playing obviously not in person, but playing like these online games and trying out new systems. This has been really helpful. Like, for example, Gary's one of the guys. He hit me up. And we got together on Discord, and he was teaching me how to play the Savage Worlds game, and that was a lot of fun. So, anyways, yeah. So, grab it and just send me a friend invite, and then we can try and make a game together. I'm busy afternoons and evenings, but most mornings I'm pretty free. All right, let me switch back to our painting. There we go. Okay. Let's see. I missed a few things. Okay, don't run games. Okay, but he's probably the best GM for introducing players to Shadow Dark. Oh, I see. Evo Unnamed is okay. Is a person you're recommending. Okay, I didn't understand that. Oh, that's my name. Okay, I'm confused. Okay, you run games Saturday because your players are overseas. Oh, okay. So you're playing with people in a different time zone. Okay. Yeah, we play on Saturdays because we have a player that is overseas as well.
And also it's the best day of the week to actually be able to stay up.
Friday I think would probably be a better day to do the game because we don't have to get up for anything on Saturday morning. So
yeah.
The best day to do it would be Friday, but Marshall's got stuff going on Friday. All right, so start playing. Here we go. Okay, so rounds. A round is 10 seconds. I can perform an action in combat and take a round test. Okay, stretch is 15 minutes. So let's go back to this one. Let's see, the light. So the light lasts for one shift, which is 6 hours. Okay, that's a lot of light. All right, the light goes out if you reach 0 hit points. Okay, so that was not your name. Okay, yeah, I I got that, or I got that I was at least doing it wrong. But if you saw the screen up or whatever, just anxiety-free games, all one word, and games has no A. It's GMES. So
because the games are free of anxiety.
that
was the reason, right?
I think that was actually. All right, so open and close is another magic trick. You open or close an unlocked door within 10 meters that you can see. Repair clothes. You got hold on here. It's not a good view. You got to inconvenience yourself, or you have to tell me where I got to put that camera so that
move it over.
What am I supposed to do?
You tilt it over here.
Tilt it over here?
Because now you can't see it either.
I understand I can't see it.
Here, if I do it like...
book down. Hang on. Yeah.
Okay, if I did it like that.
Yeah, there you go. Now you can see it. And you can see it really well. Good, okay.
Put a bottle behind it.
Because the thing is so fat. I think that is a really poor design choice by Atomic Mass Games to make this thing fall down. Like, those wheels should be way further back. I wanted to explain something to you, and I think I brought the rule book with me. Yes, I finally figured out how the inspiration system in Combat Zone works. I'll get back to Dragonbane in just a minute.
I didn't know there was.
I sent a request, but I do need to take off because it's midnight. But I can discuss things there if you want to be a player on a Friday. I would like to be a player on a Friday. I probably can't run this Friday because because my son is going to do a surgery on Friday. He's got to get an eye surgery. But yeah, I would love to jump in a Friday game with you. So that's cool. Thank you for. Oh, there we go. I can see it. One pending request. All right, Cree. I'm going to hit accept, not cancel. There we go. I got a new friend. Thank you, Cree. All right. I'll shoot you a message like tomorrow or something, and just be like, give me the info on your game and when you're running and what I need to do to jump in, or if you're running something. That'd be cool. And thank you for hanging out with us. Good night.
What do you think of my paint job so far?
It's hard. I mean, okay, it's interesting. It's hard for me to tell if that's going to look like what you want it to look like. Okay, I guess.
Well, there are going to be some. That's just one.
Here, so hear me out for a second. Yeah. You know this thing's not flying currently, right?
No, it just landed and it went through the atmosphere.
Okay, so it just went through the atmosphere. Okay, yeah. So recently ago that it has not cooled off yet.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Where's the orange?
Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate it.
Where's the fluorescent orange?
Fluorescent orange. Which one?
This one.
Oh, okay. So it might have gotten put back with those other oranges up there.
No, this one.
Do I have one of those?
Girl, we have fluorescent orange. Doesn't it?
Do we?
Fluorescent orange?
Hold on. No, there's there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them.
Huh, I thought
there's the nuclear orange.
Okay, then I'll use this
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's not a fluorescent orange. You can make a fluorescent orange with the red and yellow. Okay. Anyway, so I wanted to explain. Okay, I finally figured out how the inspiration system works in this game. Okay, you want to hear me out?
Sure, I didn't know there was an inspiration system.
Okay, it was the thing I said that I didn't understand first, and it was the reason why I was thinking I wasn't I don't know how to play this game. Talking about the Combat Zone game. This is a skirmish game I'm trying to get this guy to play. So, all right. So you have your 5 guys on your team, right?
Yeah. Okay,
and you're moving your 5 guys on your team. And let's say you have 2 of the little in this game the minions are called gonks. Okay. Gonks.
Like
then that's basically the grunts. No, like the grunts.
No, but they're like gonks.
No, not a gawk. Not a gawk. That's a gawk droid.
Oh, I thought it was a gonk droid.
No, so all right, so there's like these little gonks, and they're basically like your minions. They're your grunts in the game, okay? So you have 5 guys on your team, plus let's say 2 of these little grunts, all right? Okay. And the grunts only get 1 action, almost like they do in the Marvel Crisis Protocol. They're basically just like garbage characters, right? Okay, I'll feed you in just a second. They're supposed to be garbage characters. So you have activated 4 of your characters, okay? And I have activated 4 of my characters. Now, let's say you have 1 more character to activate before you have used up all your character's actions, okay? At any point, you can say, you know what? Instead of taking an activation to move my last character, I'm actually going to use my whole turn to refresh all of my characters, Okay?
Oh, I remember this.
Now your buddies, your little gonks, get to take their action. They only get to take their action when you decide to inspire your team. So basically, all your team's players are going to ready. Okay? You're not going to take any actions except with your gonks, and your gonks are going to defend you that round. Okay? And it's a cool system. So I like it because...
so you activate all your characters twice per round?
No. There's no rounds.
Oh.
So you're activating all your characters, and then at some point, like let's say you've activated 2 of your characters, and then you decide you want to inspire those 2 characters back. You waste a turn, activate your gonks, re-ready those two characters. You don't have to have gone with all your characters. There's obviously reasons to go all 5 characters in a row. There's probably strategies for both, but like you imagine like you've got Captain America on your team, and you had the ability to just take no turn and essentially make Captain America go ready again.
Okay.
Okay, you get it? Right. That's a cool mechanic. I think that's a very solid piece for strategy.
So when does your opponent go? After you go?
Your opponent chooses. Okay, your opponent sees you. So your opponent sees that you just readied your guys, and then goes, "Ooh, it's a free opportunity to get a little bit of an advantage." Or I'm going to ready my guys too. Right? So it might be something that your opponent takes advantage of. It might be something that your opponent responds to by also inspiring. All right. Let's look at some of the actual magic. Let's look at the non-magic tricks. Let's look at the animism. So, according to the book, animism is... How does it define it? There's magic tricks, grimoires. Where's the spell things? I'm missing the spell types. There we go. Animism. The world is alive. It's full of spirits and gods, and all things have a soul. Like nature itself, spirits and gods are neither good nor evil. They may not be omnipotent, but they possess great power and should be treated with respect. If you speak to them in the right way, they may lend power to your animist magic. Okay? Then there's elementalism. According to the elementalists, all things in the universe consist of 4 elements: wind, water, fire, and earth.
You're the Avatar.
Or there's like an episode of Star Trek where Data comes across a primitive species that all believe that like everything in the world has wood. That's why your arm is hard. And everything in the world has fire. That's why your breath is warm. It's like, and there was like, and Data's standing there like, actually, that's not quite right. Let me try and explain to you the science. And they're like, heretic. It's a really funny episode. Elementalism. Different combinations of wind, water, earth, and fire. The mind and spirit are associated with wind. Adaptability and creativity are linked to water. Action and energy are linked to fire. And steadfastness and determination are properties of the element earth. Okay? Mentalism. Mentalists believe that your mind and body are the center of the universe. By focusing on training your mind, you gain control of your body and the magic that flows through it in the world. Okay, so all right, now I understand the different schools roughly. Let's go back to the list of animism. So each one of these schools apparently has magical tricks. I'm not quite sure why the general magic also has magical tricks, but let's see how this works when you make a spellcaster. I think you have to.
We should probably go to bed pretty soon.
What time is it right now?
Get up early.
Oh, it's 10. Oh, it's tomorrow early day. Okay.
Yeah. So we should probably finish up the chat and then we can go.
I know, isn't okay. So, Ingetamna. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Ingetanma. I'm saying it wrong. Anyways, he says he likes that Star Trek episode. Oh. This dude won't watch Star Trek with me. I have tried to get him to watch Star Trek. Hold on, I'm gonna switch back to our other thing. Man, your palette board is totally in the way. This guy won't watch Star Trek. Have you ever seen a single episode of Star Trek?
Probably.
I don't think you have.
You watched it all the time.
I do watch it all the time. I just don't think you've ever watched an episode with me. Like, I watch it by myself. Like, I watch it alone like a loser. Good evening. Can you pronounce your name phonetically, like with like if I was reading it from the dictionary? Ingetamna. Ingot Omna. I'm gonna go with that for now. Anyways, good evening. Thank you.
I gotta see how it's.
Can you not see that? You're like a kid. How do you have to get your face closer to that thing than I do?
From here.
Okay, but I'm still.
My vision's not 2020.
Really?
No.
Okay. Anyways, yes, that is a dope Star Trek episode. I'm going through the Dragonbane book and trying to get familiar with the magic system because we're going to be playing a one-shot this Saturday, and so I need to get familiar with it.
Actually,
He says,
like that wing.
Let me see. Yeah, no, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's a little messy right now. You got to spruce it up with some metallic colors and stuff.
No.
Oh, Enget. Okay, Enget. Omna. Enget Omna. Okay, cool. And he says, shame. Star Trek was his favorite show as a preteen or teen. Hey, you go do me a favor. Go feed that cat. I'll take this and set this down, and then come back and you can get your brushes to wash. Are you not going to use the rest of that paint? Is that just going to stay there? At least use the dry brush and spread it around so it doesn't paint into a glob there and open up later. I mean, try harder. What do you do? There you go. Yeah, okay, right. Thank you. All right. Okay, go feed cat, and then you can come back and wash your brushes. And I'll help you get ready for bed. I'm gonna stay on a little bit later. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There we go. You can come back and get these brushes in a minute. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Star Trek. Let's see. My grandparents used to watch Star Trek all the time. It was on UPN when I was I think I was 14 at the time, and so I used to watch it with them, and it was like a family thing we did together. We'd play like Hearts, and then we'd watch Star Trek. And so there were certain days of the week that were like the better days of the week because Next Generation was already in syndication at this time. So on UPN, they'd have like an episode of Next Generation followed by like a brand new episode of Voyager. And then like on Thursdays, it'd be like an episode of Next Generation followed by a brand new episode of, what was the space station one? Oh my goodness, Deep Space Nine. I didn't really care for Deep Space Nine nearly as much as Voyager or the Next Generation, but I think on later watching, I got to enjoying Deep Space Nine, especially the later seasons, like season 4 and beyond. I think it really started to shine for me. What's that? No, he's got a brand new bag of cat food there. Come on. Let's see, you said close enough. You don't actually speak Swedish. Inget Anma is just 2 random words you plugged together about a decade ago. Okay, all right, cool. Do you have a favorite episode of Star Trek or like a top 10 list? I mean, I could probably talk about Star Trek. I could probably talk about Star Trek all night. I am going to keep trying to go through this Dragonbane book now that the painter is gone and I have some space here. I think there's a bunch of 2-parters that I really like. There's an episode of Voyager I think is one of my favorites. I don't think Voyager is my favorite show, but I think I like one of their episodes. It was called Deadlock. It was good. Probably most of my favorites come from Next Generation though. Newtsy, you remember UPN? Remember back in those days? Yeah, right. I mean that was like, okay, if you were a Star Trek fan back in like the mid to late 90s, like that was the golden period for Star Trek because it was just it was like solid good stuff coming out. Like, okay, people can argue about whether Voyager was a good series or whether Deep Space Nine was a good series or whether they had like solid beginnings or whatever, but like now with like I feel like there's such a significant lack of good science fiction out there. Like, I still watch Next Generation stuff. I watched Orville for a few seasons. I think I watched it up to like its 2nd season.
Dad?
Yeah, what's up?
Is it fine that I give food to the dogs because they're gonna go in the cage?
It's fine. It's fine. You can give food to the dogs. They'll eat it when they eat it.
Okay, they probably won't eat it tonight though. Because I'm gonna put them in my room when I go to bed.
Okay, go brush your teeth. What? What's up?
I didn't already brush my teeth.
Okay, yeah, brush your teeth. Let's see. Okay, Next Generation top 10. Okay, the one where Beverly Crusher gets stuck in the warp field experiment and everyone vanishes. That one is called. Hang on. Remember Me. Remember Me is a great episode.
Yeah, that one is like there's another one where everyone on the ship is going crazy, and like Beverly's in like the sick bay, and like a bunch of the bodies sit up because like people haven't gotten REM sleep. The Remember Me one is one of those creepy episodes like that where you're like, whoa, what happened? You know. I also love that episode where the crew come across a planet and everyone passes out except for Data, and then there's like a mystery and they're trying to put back together what happened, like because there's like a missing day, and Data's like actively trying to lie to everyone because like they made him promise to lie to them. It's such a cool episode, so it's such a clever one. Let's see, you really like the episode where Worf goes to the Klingon homeworld. Is it called Homecoming? I feel like that one's called Homecoming. Yeah, that's a pretty good. I think there was like a two-parter where like he's on trial for some reason. Oh, he's on trial for his the crimes of his dad or his family. That's a pretty good episode where like Picard goes and like defends him in a court case. I love that one. That one's great. Oh, Drumhead. That's like, it's like season 2. It's such like is it season 2? It might be season 4. And it's like such a calm, like meandering episode that like it feels like it's going nowhere for a long time, but it's, you know, it's got like this like inquisition that's going on with like this crazy lady, and she's like putting everyone on trial because, you know, she's looking for spies, and so she's on a witch hunt. Drumhead's such a great episode. So I think it's one of my favorites. Let's see, the really creepy one with the frog face alien god who makes a fake galaxy class that then they beam to. I'm trying to remember that one. Is that a Next Generation episode? Let's see, a frog-faced god alien. Is that like a original series? It doesn't sound familiar to me, and if it does, I'm not recalling it from the description. Frog-faced alien makes a fake galaxy class. Yeah, I don't recall that one. I think the thing I liked most about like the UPN days. So there was always like Star Trek, Next Generation on, and then there was like Voyager or something. But every single night, it was like because I think Baywatch was also in syndication at that time, so like Baywatch would pop on afterwards. And my grandma would always be like, you know, Dave, turn off the TV. We're not watching Baywatch. And he would always like linger a little bit too long, you know, because it's like going through the credits. And it was so funny. Because it happened like almost every single time Baywatch came on, and he'd be like, I can't find the remote, CC. You know, it's like, so, yeah. Oh, okay, so it wasn't a Next Generation episode. Yeah, okay, so that sounds like a original series episode. You know, I'm a bad Star Trek fan. I've only seen, I think, the first season of the original series. I don't know, I got in on them too late, and I think by the time I started watching them, I'd already seen all of the Next Generation, and so the original series just wasn't like, it didn't connect as well. There was too many weird episodes where like Sulu's running around topless and stuff, and like, you know, Next Generation had a few of those things in the first season where it's like the naked now, and you have like this episode where it's like, you know, they hadn't really figured out that they could be not stupid, you know, like they hadn't figured out they could have like a serious sci-fi show. And so when I go back and watch the original series of Star Trek, you know, I often think of like the episode The Naked Now, where I'm like, okay, it's just a lot of weird stuff. Like they're like, oh, sci-fi, it's a great excuse to just do dumb things. But like I think the Next Generation series was, you know, for me, like the one that really opened up like, hey, this sci-fi thing can really touch on interesting ideas in psychology, or can touch on thoughts about belief, you know. And I think they always did a really good job of staying very liberal, like open in their opinions. Like they never told you what to think about the situation. Like one character that you liked felt this way, and one character that you liked felt a different way, and you kind of had to go, yeah, I guess I don't know what to think about that. So let's see. Yeah, see, so I never watched Babylon 5. My grandparents were like totally vehemently against Babylon 5 for some reason, and so we never watched Babylon 5. And I think I saw like in entirety like part of one episode of Babylon 5, and it always looked a little weird, you know. It was like, it wasn't like bad, cheap looking. Like I don't think it looked any worse than. It certainly didn't look any worse than the Stargate show, but there were others. There were other shows. I'm like, okay, I feel like it looked worse than Voyager, and maybe a little worse than Deep Space Nine. I don't know. It had like that kind of that. It had a certain look to its special effects that made it look like a PlayStation 1 cinematic. You know, like every time you saw ships or the space station, it looked like the original Colony Wars on PlayStation. And so maybe some of that was like the disconnect for me, but I never saw an episode of it. Let's see. So they drop a beacon and fly away from it. The sound gets further away, but then it gets louder again. Okay. Not the original series, definitely Next Generation. Okay, hold on, I'm trying to think. So they drop. Oh, wait, hold on. The new Battlestar Galactica is such a baller show. I've watched the entire series. So I watched the first 2 seasons of the show, loved it. I think I even edited a trailer for it. I liked it so much. Then, I was watching it when it was still coming out, so like there was a long hiatus or something, or a long period where I didn't see it. And then season 3 and 4 finally came out, and then I went back and I watched like all of it together. And initially I liked everything except the last episode. Like I just didn't like the ending for the series. I won't spoil the ending, but I didn't like the ending. Now we're starting to actually watch it again, and my wife and I are going through. I think we've gotten through the first 2 seasons, and we're close to the end of season 2. Yeah, we're almost at the end of season 2, and it's still a great show. Like it totally holds up. Like there is something about the way they put Battlestar Galactica together. It's like it's touching on like all the interesting sci-fi things that Star Trek Next Generation didn't. You know, like the Star Trek Next Generation covered like a lot of stuff. Like you'd go, man, there's possibly nothing that this show didn't cover. And somehow Battlestar Galactica comes around. It's like, and it's touching on like different things, like different tones of darkness. You know, like there's an episode where like someone gets shot out of an airlock, and it's like, ooh, is that the right call? Like you're like, ooh, Captain Picard never put anyone out of an airlock, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh, that's it. So it's got some very intense moments. Soundtrack is amazing. Bear McCreary and Richard Gibbs. Richard Gibbs did a great job with the miniseries, and Bear McCreary made a soundtrack that's like, it's just like nothing else. It's so good, and every one of the seasons is very unique in the way it sounds. And there's so many different leitmotifs. I don't know how he put together that many leitmotifs in a soundtrack. It's fantastic. Let's see. So, there's a scene where Riker opens the door on the side of the bridge and sees himself from the back through the door. Okay, this sounds so familiar, but I'm trying to remember what that episode is. Hold on. There's an episode of Voyager called Shattered, where the ship is in different time zones. You're talking about an episode where people are in like some kind of warp stasis bubble. I really want to find this. Okay, hold on. He opens up the bridge and sees himself from the back through the door. They drop a beacon and fly away from it. It gets farther. Okay, all right. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, they're in a strange bubble of space where everything doesn't work right. All right, I'm going to be spending my evening hunting for that episode, trying to figure out which one it is, because I've seen that episode. I know which one you're talking about, but I can't even think of how it resolves itself. And you mentioned, okay, there's a frog-faced alien god, makes a fake galaxy, they beam to. Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep thinking about that one. I can't. I suppose that's my problem with the Next Generation. There are just so many good episodes. Even in season 1, there's a few really good episodes. Like, in my opinion, there's less. Like there's a lot of those episodes where it's like, oh, this is totally weird, like this thing that they're doing. I think this show really took off in season 2. Obviously in season 1 they have like the episode where they introduce the Borg, if I'm correct. And so that becomes like a kind of a central plot point, like a through line for the series from there forward. But let's see. Season 2 starts picking up with some really good episodes, and whichever season they put family in, I feel like family was the second episode of season 4. So they have like Best of Both Worlds part 1 and 2, and I believe that was the season 3 season 4 crossover. Like that was the season finale was Best of Both Worlds. And then you have family, which is like, it's such a strange episode because it's like, hey, we're gonna go down to this farm and Picard's gonna be hanging out with his brother and freaking out about his post-traumatic stress disorder. And like, that is a fantastic episode, like through and through. Worf gets to meet like his adopted parents, his human parents or whatever. It's excellent. I think those are the two main stories that it follows, but I'm pretty sure there's also a C story. So there's the A story of Picard and his brother and the B story of Worf. I feel like there's a C story about like Miles or something, some lower tier character or whatever. But I think that's my problem with Next Generation. There's so many good episodes, and it's like it's hard for me to remember all of them. I think one of the things I really like in tabletop RPGs is the exploration of magic or powers, like the psionic or spells and stuff. And to me, like if I was playing one of these type of games, that would probably be the thing that makes or break the system for me. Like, what is the magic? Like, what's the power fantasy I can have here? Like, can I play an adept from Mass Effect? You know, is it possible to play like a bionic character? You know, because that's obviously one of the things I tend to like playing in video games, and so I think I sort of lean into that in tabletop games as well. Like I think I mentioned earlier, I played a psionic character in 3.5. So in Dragonbane, it seems like you only get access to one of these 3 schools of magic. All right, let's see if I'm understanding this correct. Exploring magic is as much an art as it is a science. There are different schools of magic, each with a unique view on what magic is and how it works. There are said to be more magic schools in the world of Dragonbane, even necromancy and other darker arts, but the 3 below are the only ones available to the player in the core game. Okay, so I guess that's saying that they might come out with more in like a later book. Interesting. Each school of magic is a separate secondary skill. Okay, as a newly created mage, you may select one school as a trained skill based on intelligence. You don't get a base chance in magic schools. You don't get a base chance in magic schools that you aren't trained in, even as a mage. You can learn additional schools of magic during the game. See page 61. All right, and then we have the different schools. Okay, so you only get one starting off, but general magic is not a school, but a collection of general spells. You can learn general spells no matter which school of magic. So 3 different things you can choose: animism, elementalism, and mentalism. But then there's the general magic you can kind of mix it up a little bit with. Okay, that's pretty cool. You think the schools of magic in D&D are pointless?
Pretty much.
How come?
They just like tell you like when you're using the tech magic, I think is like there's no good point to it.
Okay, what do you mean?
Like it's pretty like there's evocation. Okay, I cast evocation. And
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying so. Oh yeah, I think in Dungeons and Dragons the schools of magic are a little bit more of a flavoring.
Yeah.
Like flavored, like okay, like hey, this one's a transmutation, but it's also so you can like detect it and stuff. Go ahead and close up the water there so it doesn't spill.
Does this look good?
Let me see. Oh, it's all wet.
Well, yeah, they're
It's
wet.
soaking wet.
Because I washed
I
them.
know, but it's. Why don't you dry it off on your towel? Okay. Yeah, I think you did a good job. I mean, right now it looks like rusted metal. It'd be really cool if you wanted to make this like a post-apocalyptic jet, which you said that you did not want to.
Into a plant overgrown jet.
You're missing out on a amazing opportunity to make cool terrain. All right.
Wait, how does it look like rust metal?
How does it not look like rust metal?
That's fire.
Okay, it doesn't look like fire. It looks like rust.
How
Okay.
does that look like rust?
Does
I
this
guess
look
I
like
see
okay,
it.
does this look like rust or does it look like fire? It looks like rust, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not.
see the rust.
I don't feel like I'm crazy here. This looks like a rusted over plane. If you're trying to make it hot, you're gonna have to add some
some metal cool. You have to look up how to add metal cooling effects or metal heating. You know, I don't know. You gotta figure out metal heating and cooling. Yeah, I mean, the thing you're describing to me sounds like it's gonna be something very difficult to paint. I don't know how you make that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see how it looks like rust. Well,
All right, you're gonna get ready to lay down.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna brush my teeth right now.
You still haven't.
I was washing off.
Let's see. Oh, by the way, hang on. I thought you already brushed your teeth.
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, okay, go brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, you swung by your local game store and found that magical girl RPG I was talking about earlier, and took a few screenshots. I could send it to you. Oh, send you the info on YouTube or on Discord if you want. Certainly. I can show you the link to my Discord. I just had it open a second ago here. Yeah, send me a friend request on Discord. I'm trying to remember the magical girl RPG that we were talking about. Was that the other day on stream, or was that in one of the comments? Magical girl RPG. There's just so many of these things I'm looking at. I'm totally forgetting like them in real time. So, and if you let's see, magical girl RPG. Yeah, if you can send it to me, then I will probably remember the thing we were talking about. Let me switch my screen over to show you. Here we go. So, all right. So you can see. Nope, wrong screen. Whoops. There we go. Anxiety-free games. So, ANXIETY-FREE, and then games is GMES with no A. You can just hit me a message there and or whatever, like a request, and I will accept. And yeah, so you can send me a picture or whatever. Okay, so yeah, it was the other day on stream. Yeah, I'm trying to keep all these in mind, but yes, it definitely helps if I have either something written down or if like I have it like written down in my notes, like on my iPad. So if you can send me like a picture of it or something like that, that allows me to put it into my notes and, you know, kind of collect it there. Let me switch this back. Wrong one. Magic tricks. All right. Let's take a look at these different spells for magic tricks. So there's Protector, Magic Shield, Transfer, Magic Shield, Transfer, Magic Seal, Charge, and Permanence. Okay, Protector. You protect a person or place no larger than a human from magic. You can cast a spell on yourself. The power level of the spell cast on the person or place is reduced by the power level in Protector.
What size of human? What if it's like Shaq?
I think it works on Shaq too. Let's see. The power level of the spells cast at the person or place is reduced by the power level in Protector. That's interesting. Okay. You can also use the spell to protect against magical attacks from monsters. Okay, page 83 explains that. In that case, each power level reduces the number of dice rolled for the damage. So I'm guessing you bolster this up. Okay, and in that case, each power level reduces the number of dice rolled by the damage. Okay, I'm still not quite understanding how it works for the magic spell version. So, the power level of all spells cast at that person or place is reduced by the power level. See, I thought I could just go ahead and start recording tomorrow and make a video about this, but I'm already having trouble understanding how this exactly works. Okay, so the power level of the spell cast, let's see, duration, range. I need to look for power level because that's, oh, there we go, power level. Okay. The power level of a spell indicates how much power you charge it with. The power level ranges from 1 to 3. Casting a spell costs 2 of your willpower points per power level. In other words, normal spells always cost at least 2 willpower, and magic tricks always cost 1 willpower. Some spells do not use a power level. These always cost 2. All right. All right, so I'm probably going to have to give this a more thorough read before I'm able to actually make a video about it. Let's see, the other day on stream, okay, got it. Oh, here, let me go ahead and accept. Pending request. Pending. There we go, I got you. Nope, stop doing that. Accept. All right, thank you so much. And yeah, if you have the image or whatever, like of the, you said you got a screenshot of it or something, took a few screenshots. Yeah, send it to me so I can take a look at it. Oh. You don't have to make yourself throw up. Still trying to think of which episode this is with Riker where he sees himself from the back. All right, I'm gonna have to look that one up. Maybe I could actually, hold on, maybe I could look it up right now. Let's see. Star Trek Next Generation episode, Riker sees himself. It's called Second Chances. No, never mind. That's the episode where he meets the William Riker who is caught in a transporter. No, who's trapped on a planet for a long time. All right, so this is gonna be harder to find. No, it's not Future Imperfect. That's the one with the kid. Frame of Mind. That's the one where he's crazy. It's not that. All right, Google doesn't immediately know what I was looking for. Magic Shield, Magic Seal. Charge. How does charge work? You transfer your willpower into an inanimate object of your choice, which acts as a battery. Each power level lets you transfer up to 10 willpower. Anyone in contact with the object can use its willpower instead of their own. Interesting. After one shift of time, the charged willpower dissipates. Unless combined with permanence, charge can also be combined with Magic Seal. Okay, so unless combined with permanence. Okay, so if you can, it's rank 5 for permanence. That's kind of cool actually, because you can. Okay, so that sounds like you could actually charge up an item with 10 willpower points, and a shift is 6 hours. You gotta find out how fast you get your magic back, because it sounds like you could actually like increase your pool of mana.
Oh, how?
Well, by using charge. It says you transfer willpower to an inanimate object, and it lasts for a shift. You can charge up to 10 points of willpower, and anyone can use it who has contact with it.
Oh,
and it lasts for a shift, which, if I read correctly, is 6 hours. Okay, so it's 6 hours.
Oh, the willpower.
You can take a shift rest. Yeah. Okay. So I have to figure out how fast you get your willpower back.
Well, could
Yeah. Okay. You're let me see. What time is it? It's 10:40. Okay, that's fine. That's a good time for me to get ready to start going to bed too.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll try and make a more regular schedule, and I will have that
streaming pretty regularly.
No. But I mean, like, I'll try and make a regular schedule where I post. I gotta do a few things. So first, I have to like spruce up the stream a bit. I'd like to have the chat be on the screen. Maybe I think I might even want to
on the screen there.
No. Like on the. So if you look at people's different YouTube streams, there'll be like a screen here, and like here's their video window, and here's like the chat scrolling on the side.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I mean, like right now, I don't think people who go and watch this video later can see the chat.
No, you can. I think. I'm pretty sure.
If you can, I don't know how, but because I've gone. So let's see. Frog-faced God kills the ensign on the pilot just because it's bored. And Picard calls its bluff by setting the ship to self-destruct, I think. I'm trying to remember this. Hold on. So the frog-faced God
kills an ensign. Okay, so are you sure that's not 2 different episodes? Because when you talk about an ensign dying, I think of. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the first episode that came to mind was the episode where Denise Crosby's character of what was her name? What was her name? She was Tasha Yar. When Tasha Yar dies to like that mud monster, like that's what came up. But okay, because it's bored. Picard calls its bluff by setting the ship to self-destruct. Okay, so apparently I have to watch the entire series of Star Trek: The Next Generation again to figure out what this mystery episode is, because I'm not like this. I should know this episode. There's like so many things you're talking about. All right, okay, we're gonna get ready to wrap it up here.
You guys have to have a nerd battle sometime.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was gonna tell me his top 10 episodes, but then we kind of got hung up on this one because he said this was one of his top 10s, but we couldn't figure out which one it was. And I can't remember it, but yeah, okay. Next time we're streaming, we'll have to keep talking about Star Trek. I could talk about Star Trek just all night. It's an unnamed ensign, so it's not Tasha Yar. Okay, hold on. Hold on. An unnamed ensign dies. I'm trying to think of ensigns that die. So I can't see. Like a red shirt dies. Okay, do they die on the ship or on the planet? Frog face god. Yeah, I don't have it. Yeah, okay. That's cool. Anyways, well, we can talk some more Star Trek later. Thanks for hanging out with us. Terman, Family Brick, if you're still here, and Newtsy. I think Nick jumped off a little earlier. Hold on. Inget Domna. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for chatting about Star Trek. We'll be live streaming again probably later this week, but I'm gonna just keep going through Dragonbane so I can make a video about the magic powers in the system. So thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good night. God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
All right.